What is the most amount of negative equity that you have seen?
41,000 on a 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneer.
2022 Mercedes SL63 you're trying to get rid of?
I paid about 200K for it.
You bought this last year?
Yeah, I bought it brand new.
If I was to offer you 100 grand.
Bro, please tell me this is a joke, right? I'm just trying to figure out, how do you owe $25,000 on a Mercedes that has 170,000 miles?
Because why the did I find out that some of y'all making $2,000 a month are spending $1,200 to drive a car?
Auto loans are destroying the middle class. Negative equity is siphoning any hope of economic prosperity. Today, we're going to be looking at a few examples of what happens when you walk into a dealership with nothing but ignorance, impulse, and excitement.
Lawrence, what is the most amount of negative equity that you have seen?
41,000 on a 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneer.
Gotcha. What is the most amount of negative equity that you have seen?
It was around $10,000 on a Honda Accord, 2016.
Did they trade out?
Yeah, they traded out of it. They had to get into a 2023 Tahoe to eat up the negative equity.
Gotcha. Did they put any money down?
And did. They had to put in like $4,000 down to get to approved.
Damn. And they still put $4,000 down.
Put $4,000 down to eat up some of the negative equity to get approved.
Gotcha. That's crazy. What is the most negative equity that you have seen?
I thought I'd seen it all before, but right now she owes 44 and the vehicle is worth about 22. As you can tell, it's pretty flipped.
What car was it?
It's 2024 Ford Escape with moderate damage, so she owes a lot of money on the vehicle right now.
How much is it that she owes?
44,268, and the vehicle is worth 22.
Okay, so how much negative equity is that?
22,000.
Danny, what is the most amount of negative equity that you've seen?
I had someone who had an old Mustang that they bought from a tote the note place, and they really just screwed them over. They had a bad deal on it. And so it was a 15-year-old car that they still owed over $25,000 on. So they had about 20 grand in negative equity to try to get out of.
So it was worth like 5?
Yeah.
Damn. What is the most negative equity that you've seen?
Top of my head, I had a customer that was $8,000 upside down on a 2018 Silverado. That's the most I've seen personally.
$8,000 is crazy. What is the most amount of negative equity that you have seen?
I want to say the most amount of negative equity I've seen is probably about 30,000.
What car was it?
It was on a pickup truck, and they were trying to buy another pickup truck.
Gotcha.
So let's go over a few of the details that were in the video, okay? Because this is insane. 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, $40,000 of negative equity, okay? Kicking off strong, $40,000 of negative equity for a 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Let's take a quick look to see what those are going for today. Okay, so as I take a quick scroll around the market to see what 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneers are going for, I'm seeing between $40,000, $50,000, sometimes $60,000, and it varies greatly depending on trim, right? Because some are base models and some have all the packages. But to be $40,000 in negative equity on a Jeep Grand Wagoneer, what I'm assuming happened was whoever bought it bought the highest trim, bought it brand new, and probably put a lot of miles on it, and so essentially the car just fell off of a cliff. And here's the thing, these cars new are never an investment. It is one of the worst ways to spend your money is to buy a brand new vehicle. Don't get me wrong, we all want a nice car, but brand new is never the way. Brand new is never the way. Just like how he or she is negative $40,000 on this 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, it begs the question, why not just wait a few years, buy the vehicle used, and now you're the one buying it secondhand for an extreme discounted price. Okay, let's go to the next one. That one just blew my mind.
2022 Mercedes SL63 you're trying to get rid of?
Yeah.
You got 8,400 miles. You bought it for, you said $211,000, correct?
Yeah, that was the MSRP, but I got a little discount, so I paid about 200K for it.
You bought this last year?
Yeah, I bought it brand new.
What are you looking to get for it?
I haven't really done any research on it at all. That was why I was asking you what it's worth and stuff.
You own it outright, or is it being financed?
Financed it.
Okay, how much do you owe right now on it?
Maybe 140, 150.
How clean is the car?
Oh, it's perfect.
It's going between 90 to 98,000. So SL63 with a little less miles, they're going all the way up to 125,000. If I was to offer you 100 grand,
Maybe I'll call Mercedes and see, then I'll get back to you.
the number you have to be at is at 140, right? You're just trying to pay it off
Today, yeah.
Okay. If that doesn't work, we tell people all the time that they're more than welcome to consign the car with us. So consignment means vehicle comes to the dealership, we'll detail it, put photos up, put it up on our platform, and then we'll come to an agreement 20 to 125 if it sits for a while. If you want a quick sale, maybe 115.
Okay, cool. That works.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you very much. Let me.
Incredible. So this individual bought a brand new Mercedes SL63 AMG for $200,000. And in only 1 year, he lost an outstanding $100,000. Guys, this is absolutely ludicrous, completely out of hand. If this doesn't tell you that these brand new German vehicles are some of the worst value investments that you can make, I don't know what does. German cars depreciate like a rock. In fact, let's look at something really quick. So after a quick Google search, you'll be delighted to learn that in the first 5 years, luxury brands like BMW, Mercedes, Audi depreciate approximately 60% within the first 5 years due to the fact that they're luxury vehicles and the people who purchase these cars always want the newest model. So this is a blessing and a curse. For those that are smart and savvy, they understand this and they'll buy a car that's 5 years older for half the price. Huge discount. But for those individuals that are suckers that buy brand new, they are getting completely wiped out. And let's be honest, guys, most people cannot afford the cars that they drive. Let's make that 100% clear. Most people cannot afford the cars that they drive. So I don't mean to sit here and be the Scrooge and say, oh, never buy anything you like, never spend your money on something you're passionate about. We all love cars, especially as Americans. However, we also can't be ignorant to the fact that cars are all depreciating assets. They are always a loss, and it is never an investment. Hopefully that guy has quite an amazing portfolio of rental properties or stocks, because that loss has gotta hurt.
Bro, please tell me this is a joke, right? I'm just trying to figure out, how do you owe $25,000 on a Mercedes that has 170,000 miles?
When I got out of high school, I wasn't really too smart about the car finances and stuff like that. It was pretty much blindly signed. It was a 26% interest rate. I got it from CarMax. Originally, the note was like 500 something plus the CarMax gears, stuff like that. So it went up to 600. After tax, it's 628 or 668.
But you said you bought the car in 2021?
Yeah, 2021.
4 years later, if you bought it for 25, how you still owe 25? How much do you have down?
Credit score 580. Now I don't have anything really down. I'm like an Amazon driver.
Time being, just use the car and just be careful if they're gonna pick it up. But I mean, if that's your only mode of transportation, hustle for a year or two, get your credit up, and then when you have a 700 credit score, you climb the Amazon ladder, go get a nice car. But right now, the situation is when people see luxury cars and high interest rates, they don't really think about getting it to this point.
Absolutely insane. 26% interest on a Mercedes with 170,000 miles. And I believe it was just a simple C-Class. I'm shocked it's even running at 170,000 miles. Not to mention, this guy still owes $25,000 on this vehicle. That's eclipsing 200,000 miles on a Mercedes, not a Toyota, a Mercedes Benz. And let's break down a couple things. So he bought this vehicle in 2021, and 4 years later, in 2025, he owes the same amount that he purchased the vehicle for. I'm not quite sure how that works, but he purchased the vehicle for $25,000 and still owes $25,000. That's probably due to the ludicrous interest rate, where basically he's only been making minimum payments and all that money's basically been going to interest. $668 monthly car note. Who knows what his insurance is? Not to mention, Mercedes require premium fuel, and they're not that fuel efficient. Not to mention, insurance for these vehicles is definitely greater, especially when you're young, as this fellow is, since he had just graduated high school when he purchased the vehicle. What's the synopsis of basically the videos we've watched thus far? These vehicles are wealth killers. They're soul suckers, and it's basically indentured servitude. When you sign a paper saying, yes, I'm going to give you my soul so you can front me the money to purchase a vehicle that I cannot afford for a monthly payment that's going to wipe me out, that I can barely manage, at an interest rate that's gonna make what you fronted me seem like a small loan compared to what I have to pay you back, all so my peers can accept me, when in reality I can barely afford rent, food, or gas, not to mention utilities. I'm in debt for my C-Class Mercedes that I can barely make the monthly payment for, and I am struggling every day to make it because I wake up stressed because of how much debt I'm in. So this young guy, just out of high school, already put himself in $25,000 of debt, not to mention student loans if he has any, if he decided to go to college. Maybe he has credit cards as well. I mean, think of the financial struggle and burden he put on himself during his best prime years of investing. Guys, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'll tell you right now, the highest payment I have ever had on a vehicle is $280. Yes, $280, and it was only like, it was barely 10% of what I believe it was 8 or 9% of what I was making at the time. Okay, a month. Okay? It is not a big deal if you do it correctly. If you make sure you budget, what is my income per month? What percentage is my car payment of my total income, right? Try to keep that below 15%, 10% ideally. Overall, I hope this young man gets out of this situation, learns from his mistake, and decides to make better decisions moving forward and starts creating wealth for him and his future bloodline. Okay, let's go ahead and transition to a new segment, the irrelevant video of the day. Today's irrelevant video is pretty fun. I think you guys will like it. Something a little lighthearted, a little fun, you know. Funny thing enough, it actually took me a while to realize what they meant by mini bar. I didn't actually realize they were miniature people, they were dwarfs. Let's take a dive into the comments. First one says, at least you're supporting small businesses. They're short-staffed. Someone says, they set the bar really low, not the cameraman on the floor. Everybody loves this minimalist design, as well as your standard memes and gifs that they put in there.
Don't mind me, everybody. I just have a question. What are you guys paying on your monthly car note? I'm not talking insurance. I'm talking car note. Just the car note. Because why the did I find out that some of y'all making $2,000 a month are spending $1,200 to drive a car?
He very gracefully explains the misconception that a lot of Americans have that a nice car equals a nice salary. That a nice car equals the person's financial success. Nice car means that the owner, the bank most likely owns the vehicle, that the owner makes a lot of money, has a lot of money, is rich or wealthy or both. Guys, this couldn't be further from the truth. And it is always funny when people find this out for the first time. Yes, it is true. Most people in BMWs and Mercedes, Lexus, any of these bougie cars, they don't really got it like that. They don't got it like that. At least for the Lexus boys, they have a reliable vehicle. So they got that. It is always funny though when people learn for the first time that these individuals driving these nice cars aren't actually as rich as modern society thinks they are. I don't know where this correlation to nice cars and nice salaries comes from. Contrary to popular belief, it's very simple to drive a nice car. Anyone can drive a nice car. All of us can all have M cars, AMGs. It's quite simple. It's the people who can truly afford those cars, not make the payment, not just pay for the cars, that can afford those cars. Those are the ones that have nice cars and they're doing well. Those guys are few and far between, right? Everyone's trying to keep up with this Andrew Tate lifestyle, right? They're trying to have all the glitz and glamour and keep up with the Joneses on social media, you know, and I think a lot of this really did come about after COVID. I mean, it's been around, but after COVID, I think this type of lifestyle really exploded, right? The rise of Andrew Tate and the rise of a lot of these influencers who really push this ultra luxurious lifestyle on us, and that if you're not wealthy, you're a loser. But at the end of the day, guys, it's a marathon, not a race. Run at your own pace and really look at the bank, budget, figure out what you can afford, what you can't. Guns and butter. Guns and butter. It's an old saying, but it holds true. What are guns and what's butter? Guns are going to be stuff you need. Butter is what you don't. So always look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I really need this thing? And instead of impulse buying, wait 24 hours. A lot of times after 24 hours have passed, you realize you don't even need that item anymore. You don't need that car. You don't need that item. It was an impulse buy. You sit back, you relax, you dwell on the idea, and you realize it wasn't necessary. It's not a necessary purchase, and I don't even really want that item anymore, right? Guns and butter. Keep that in your head. Really, really, really think about stuff before you just go out and purchase it. That's gonna do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I thoroughly enjoyed making this video. What we saw today on negative equity, absolutely insane. Losing $100,000 in a year, $40,000 upside down on a Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Those cars are ugly anyway. Owing $25,000 on an old Mustang that's only worth $5K. Guys, we must do better. I believe in every single one of you. The time is always right to do what is right. The best time to invest was yesterday. The second best time was today. We can all change our lives for the better. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Peace out.